What's up, YouTubers? Your favorite Geek Girl Claire here with another unboxing video. And today we're going to be unboxing, a new pair of Uggs. But it's not just any Uggs, everybody. It is a very special pair of Uggs. So it's not those little funky boots like I have here. Like, this is cool and all, but no, this is a very different product than what is here. So what is here? So let's first, before we do the unboxing, the unveiling, I just got this sheepskin insoles right here to replace the insoles that I have in another pair of boots that got worn out recently. And I was walking around New York in them, and I felt very uncomfortable walking around for such long distances. I think I walked about 28,000 steps that day, and that was it was killing my feet after a while. And I found out that it was because my insoles, my sheepskin insoles that are inside every boot, and I think this one you can't remove them, but the other ones you can. So it's very strange. Some of these Ugg boots you cannot remove the insoles, others you can. And if you saw the insoles, they were you could see where my toes kind of dug into the insole, and then the sole of the foot isn't as even as it once was, and it isn't as cushioned as it once was. So you need to replace the insoles every now and again. And so yeah, purchasing a pair of new insoles, your shoes can pretty much feel almost like new. So that's very, very cool. And yeah, they sell these for $20 for a pair, which is a little pricey, but it's well worth the price. Now, I think I'll have to open this up with scissors because it looks like I can't just simply open it and look like a zip. There's a Ziploc lining over here, but you can't really get access to that, I don't think. No, you can't, unless you cut this first, which is very strange that they have something why do you need this Ziploc thing? What's the purpose of that, really, right? Because if you cut this open and you use this, you're not going to take them out and put them back into the bag. You're going to leave them in the shoes, I think, right? So that doesn't make sense. Some of these decisions that companies make just don't make sense. So here, ooh, look how fluffy this is. Very nice. And look at the bottom. I think this ends up being higher quality than the insoles that you actually get with the boots or the shoes from Ugg. So yeah, this is it's already an upgrade, right? So, and we've got this little sticker. It says please remove this before you slip this inside the shoes. That's a duh moment, right? You really should be peeling these labels off because they serve no purpose other than to get smushed inside the shoe. So there you go. Remove the sticker, and what else do you get? For some odd reason, you get some plastic sheet in between here. So I guess these things can appear they're separate and not messing up each other. It's a waste of plastic. I don't know why they have this kind of thing. So yeah. So what does this exactly say, right? I'm curious about what it says on this sticker. It says, real fur from lamb. Fur has been artificially dyed and treated. It says fur origin is Australia. Product is made in the Philippines. Okay, so the fur is from Australia, then they send all this fur over to the Philippines where they assemble these things, and yeah, then they're done. And they get them sent back to UGG, and then they can sell them to you since they paid for the shipping of all of the products over to the Philippines and then ship the stuff back, you're paying for that too. So that's part of the $20 cost. Why don't they just do it all in one location, right? I don't know. So there's various strategic reasons for that. But anyway, I digress, and we're gonna move this out of the way. Yeah, women's sheepskin insoles. They have a men's version also, and so if you get the men or the women's version, what is the difference between men's and women's Ugg boots? They very much look alike, so I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. But anyway, let's unbox this. It's a really cool shoe. You've probably seen it before. And so I say shoe rather than boot because it is a shoe. And it's not exactly a shoe, it's a sneaker. Now you must know what it is, right? Yes. How many sneakers do they have in their arsenal of sneakers? So here, some care stuff right there in very tiny words. Tiny, tiny words that you can barely read, right? So strange, so strange. I have to use a microscope to read text this small these days. Ooh. Yes, these are called the Lowmels, and they're higher top than the lowest of the Lowmels because they have a lower one that I think it's in the men's section. So I guess the men's version is low and the women's version's high. I don't know. It's just strange how they determine what is a man's shoe versus a woman's shoe, especially when the shoes look very, very identical. So here we have these shoelaces right here. And if you like the pattern of this, then yeah, then you leave them on. But if you don't like this pattern, if you think that this pattern kind of like is not your thing, not your style, then there's an alternate pair of shoelaces right here that is solid black. It's black, not like this grayish black color that you see here. That's part of the pattern of the shoelaces. So yes, so yeah, I think the pattern is nice because it gives you a little bit of contrast in the sneaker. If you just had black on black, then it'd be a little more boring, but in case these ever wear out, then you've got another pair of shoelaces to replace them with, or we can just change them depending on what the situation calls for, right? So maybe you want this to be a little more dressed up, and so you want this to be like a little more discreet, then you can wear the all black shoelaces. Now, these are not designed to be tied in any way. They're kind of designed to be just hanging off like this, which is really strange to me because every shoe that I've ever owned that had shoelaces, you are supposed to tie them. Not this one, apparently. You can walk around with this without too much fear of tripping on your shoelaces, and yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I'm wondering to myself, like, why didn't they design all sneakers and shoes with shoelaces like this? Why did they make us tie our shoes? Because when we tie our shoes, sometimes the shoe is a little too tight on our feet. It depends on your feet, of course, and how they are. If you have wider feet like I do, then yeah, you probably don't want to tie your shoelaces so tight on a shoe. But if you have narrow feet, then yeah, you probably want that security with the shoelaces. So yes, the bottom of this, as you see, looks exactly like an UGG boot. So here's a typical UGG boot. Here's the sneaker shoe, and as you see here, they are like basically the same. Yes. And yes, here's our little friend, the sticker, and it says remove. It's the same sticker as the other one, so we remove it. Yes, very, very cool. And yes, on the inside of this, okay, so here, every new pair of Uggs. So how can you tell new versus fake, right? So, well, you have to buy the sneakers from the actual UGG company, and then, of course, they're real. But if you buy them from some other place, some other non-UGG retailer, you might be getting a fake, right? You don't know in some cases. Sometimes these fakes look just like the real thing. And if you've ever seen, there's a video of someone that's actually bisecting the shoes, like they're actually cutting the shoes in half to show you what's inside. And they show you like what a shoe such as like a bear paw, for example, how much lower quality it is compared to an UGG. And although the person doing this bisecting, he basically says that Uggs should not be the price that they are, which is potentially true. It's even worse to purchase these knockoffs because they are even lower quality, right? So not to say this is low quality, it's just that it shouldn't be priced as much as it should be. Like this is very high quality. This is like, I think they had like 5 different kinds of UGG style shoes, and the one that was the original UGG that's sold in Australia is like the top ranked one, and the UGG brand is like the number 2. But then you have these other ones that aren't as good, and the ones towards the bottom, like the bear paws, if you look at what's inside the shoe, the stuff that they use is just like, it's alarmingly bad. So yeah, try to just say, if you want to buy a pair of Uggs, UGG boots or UGG sneakers or shoes, save your money and get the real thing, because the quality is just so much better than the crappier things that are out there, like bear paw. So yeah, so here, every UGG shoe should include like these kinds of inserts, right? If you don't have inserts in your shoes, then either they're fake or they were worn by other people and sold as new to you, unfortunately. So here, I think I have a removable. It is removable. I can slip my finger underneath it, and here it is. Yeah, so some of these Uggs and UGG shoes and sneakers, you can remove the insoles, and as you see, the bottom of this is simply flat. If you get these insoles, the replaceable insoles, check this out. This is an additional layer that's on here to give you better support. So these insoles actually are superior than the ones that are included in your shoes or sneakers or boots. So here on the bottom, you'll see that's what it looks like on the inside without the insole, right? So there you go. And so you can slip this back in with a little bit of effort in many cases. A little bit of effort. Come on. Come on. Yes, there we go. And there we go. So there, now it's back in. And, ooh, look at this. This lip here, okay, so why do we have this ring on this lip? It's because when you slip your foot into the shoe, you want to be able to pull this back with this ring, right? So there's a practical version, like a practical reason that is, for this ring right here, this loop that you use to pull this lip back. Very, very cool. So let me snip off this little tie here. Okay, let's get rid of the tie so my puppy doesn't choke on it. And let's take a look at these shoelaces up close. I'm so glad that they didn't make me cut across here to get to the Ziploc portion. Wow, these feel so soft, nice and soft right here. Oh, look how wide these shoelaces are. Wow, very, very cool. Look how long they are too. And they are stretchy. So check this out. Here, this is like, let me make this taut. Okay, now I'm gonna pull. So they are stretchy. Very cool. Yes, and you get two of them, one for each shoe. Very, very cool. And yeah, so let me just put this back into its bag. There we go. Into its little Ziploc bag here. If you have a puppy, or I guess maybe even a cat, then you know that sometimes your puppy or kitten might want to chew off these ends right here, and then you have these frayed ends, and it's good that you have another pair of these. But you can always repair these using tape, right? If you didn't know that. This is just simply tape on the ends of this, so pretty cool. And this too, a little stretchy right here too, very cool. So yeah, I think it's going to be like my mental block. I have to like get used to the idea of the shoelaces being untied while I walk around with them. So I'll just have this unnatural fear for like the first week or so of tripping over my shoes and falling on my face. So, which would be terrible. So I am going to slip this shoe on now. I've heard this is a size 9 for my size 9 feet. Yes, I have big feet. And, and I heard that if you are used to a size 9 in UGG shoes, UGG boots that is, that you should probably get something larger than a size 9 for this Lowmel sneaker. Now, I have a little bit of faith. They said that this toe box here is a little narrow, and so I'm going to hopefully fit into here without it feeling too snug. So we'll see what happens. Because some people, they are a certain size, like I've seen people with size 9 feet, they slip into this thing and they're fine. And other people, it just doesn't want to work for them for whatever reason. So here we go. Slipping into this thing, I'm pulling back the lip with the, ooh, it fits perfectly. There's no snugness in the toe box. I mean, it feels slightly snugly, right? But otherwise, like, it's great. Yes. Now, can I walk 28,000 steps in this before feeling like a hurt in the toe box? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, like people were making it sound like you put your foot in and it won't even fit into the toe box. And I have wide feet. Like my feet are, I guess, like in the C range. Like there's A and B for narrow, and then there's B is not really narrow, A is narrow, but I digress again. So then they have C and D for wide feet, so I'm like a C. And I think I'm more like a C on my left foot because I broke my frickin' toe in Aikido, and so I've got this bunion here, so I can't even fit into like these Gucci pumps that I used to wear. And yeah, Manolo Blahniks, right? I can't wear those anymore because of frickin' martial arts, breaking my toe. And yeah, so yeah, there are people out there who are like, oh, you shouldn't be so vain and wear those shoes all the time. It's like, yeah, but I paid a lot of money for those shoes. I want to wear them. But no, now I can't because frickin' martial arts. Anyway, if it wasn't for martial arts, then you all wouldn't be able to see my flame punch video on how I can extinguish a flame, knock out a flame using the power of my speedy punches. So maybe you'll tune into that video, yeah, right here. And it's a pretty cool video. So not going to lie, it's like a little bit of a technique that I learned over the years and found out that I could do with little to no effort. So yeah, give it a try if you'd like. Now, by flame punch, I don't mean like you're passing your fist through a flame. I'm talking about stopping short of the flame and extinguishing the flame using the air pressure in front of your fist. Sounds magical, right? Sounds like mystical, magical, weird, but I can do that, and a lot of you can do that too. And so I show the technique, 3 different techniques on how to do that. So let's slip our left foot into this left shoe here, and okay, so I'm gonna take this out a little bit, good. Take this out, good. And let's try it on. My left foot is the foot that is a little bit wider than the right one, and yeah, just as I had guessed, it slipped in with no issues. So yes, my wide feet fits into this so-called narrow sneaker with no issues. Now, it might be that if you get, like if your foot's smaller and you have a wide foot, maybe those smaller sizes, the toe box feels too snug for you. That could be the case, because sometimes shoes, depending on the way they're manufactured, and it can even be like no 2 shoes are the same, right? So let's say you're a size 7 and you slip your foot into a size 7 shoe and the toe box is too narrow. Well, it could be that if you just tried on another pair of size 7s, your foot would slip in easily right away because of differences in the manufacturing process. So a lot of shoes are, yes, made by machines and stuff, but there's also a component where humans try to get involved and do things too. And at least in some shoe manufacturers, not all. And so the differences in like what happens during the day, like somebody could be like, I don't know, it's their lunch break. And so they decide, oh, I'm going to finish up this last shoe before I go eat my sandwich. And so they're like tightening things a little bit too much, and then they put it down the assembly line. And then after they come back from their wonderful meal, their sandwich, then suddenly they're re-energized and they could like make the shoes as they should be again. So it could just be that the people who've gotten those narrow shoes and they don't fit those narrow toe box versions of the Uggs, that if they tried a different, like another pair, same size, it'd probably fit them. I don't know. So that's just a guess. It's just differences in manufacturing. And we've seen this, like we've all experienced this, at least I hope we all have, in that we like try on different things and we try on different things of the same size and we see that there's a difference. There just is. So I think certain things that might not be the case, but if things have like a handmade component to them, then there will be differences. So yes, very, very cool. So I've got both shoes on right here. They are very comfortable. Yes, very, very cool. And yeah, so now I can walk around. Yes, go to my yoga studio. Yes, in some cool UGG Lowmels. Yes. So this one right here, if you've ever done this exercise right here, this is called Rock the Baby, and you can do this in a seated position with your spine straight. Wrap your arms around here, your knee, and the bottom of your foot. And let me tell you, this is a little more challenging with a taller heeled sneaker like this. But yeah, you want to interlace your fingers and you want to basically rock this, and this opens up the hips a little bit. It helps with the ankles and the knees a little bit, but it's really a hip opener. And yeah, good for opening the hips. And yeah, if you have like tight hips, Rock the Baby is a really good exercise to try to loosen that up. Very, very cool. So anything else in this box? More of this like sheet separating plastic, which is a total waste. Please don't use this. Is this even recyclable or recycled? Of course it's recyclable, I think, right? It says micro pack enhanced sheets. Oh, they have LDPE. I don't know. Is this like some recyclable thing? I don't know. So I think it's just a waste of plastic to put this in there. You've got this stuff already, and you've got this separator between the shoes. You don't need this plastic. It's just weird. So stop putting all this wasteful stuff in, because every time they put a sheet of this plastic in, we get charged extra money for our shoes. So if they stopped using this junk, then our shoes would be a little cheaper. So yeah, that's my rant for the day. So yes, everybody, if you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you. Bye. Here is the front view. Here is the side view. So this is with yoga pants. And here is the back view. So you see the shoelaces just kind of dangle off on the sides. And so, yeah, you don't need to tie them. Although you probably could. They would look kind of funny if you tried to tie them. So there you go.